month of November to order. Everybody get a chance to look over the minutes from the previous meeting?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve.
Patrick so moves, Ed seconds it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Minutes are all set. And 239 referrals.
Okay, it's all laws tonight. Okay, so the first one is 21061B, the town of Clovick. Town of Clovick Town Board, it's proposed Town of Clovick Local Law Number 1 of 2021, amending the zoning law to add section 7.3 to allow private road subdivisions. Private road subdivision is be a parcel without existing frontage on a public road. The existing subdivision laws require lots to have frontage on a road in order to be subdivided. Would add a new section and add the definition of a private road subdivision. It would be permitted would be a maximum of 4 lots in RC, RR, and RA zoning districts. And that would be the parent plus 3 parcels. And the look back date is the date the local law would be adopted. Would allow single family or 2 family, no commercial uses, and a building permit could be issued for those once the access via the private road or easement. A private road subdivision is not permitted on lots with access to a public road. They may not result in the creation of any landlocked parcels. That is what basically was the impetus for this subdivision legislation, because of there's a number of landlocked parcels in the town. So that's what the reason why this is being created. There was a map in the packet. Did you guys need to see that? Do you want me to bring that up, or the map of the landlocked subdivision of the landlocked? Yes.
Yeah, okay.
You do? Okay.
Yeah. Let's take a quick look.
Let's see.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So this is was actually created by our office before they wrote the law. They were trying to determine how many parcels were actually landlocked. I'm not sure what started the discussion, but so all the little red ones are landlocked. So they would potentially be affected by this legislation if enacted. So. So the parcels, there will be a minimum frontage required of 50 feet, and the lots must comply with the bulk area requirements in the zoning. The private roads may not be created on a separate parcel, but they may be part of a parcel. They shall be a deeded right-of-way providing legal access. The driveways must provide access for emergency vehicles. The boundary of the lot would be to the private road center line, and no further subdivision may occur with these parcels, and that would be required deed restrictions on the parcels. They establish submission requirements requiring review by the town engineer and the highway superintendent prior to obtaining planning board approval. They also require a road maintenance agreement and or a homeowners association to be established. The planning board is going to be granted the discretion to require a maintenance fund and to establish the amount, and also to determine whether a performance bond would be necessary. They also would have the private road need to comply with the town road specs. It would be offered for dedication. And they also were establishing some design standards that the road be fully constructed before a building permit for any residence could be issued. The right-of-way would be a minimum of 40 feet, the traveled way a minimum of 18 feet. And they also set forth design and construction specs for the road design. We didn't find any countywide impact from this, and we have no comments.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
Do I have anything in there, Patrice, that would require the fire chief to approve it? More and more of these fire companies are getting larger trucks and tower trucks and,
No, there's the provision in the law just reads that it would have to provide safe access for emergency vehicles, including fire and ambulance. I think they actually say the names of the trucks.
no, I wasn't worried about some trucks, but I was looking for possibly a fire chief approval.
That's not written in the law. No, it is not. I don't recall seeing that.
I think that would be a good idea if they included that.
Okay.
I agree with you.
You know, the problem we had in our town is we had certain fire chiefs that weren't comfortable signing off on. I think it's a good idea, but there were certain people just who weren't comfortable, didn't feel that they were an engineer of sorts and didn't want.
Well, again, they can work with an engineer, but I'd hate to see a road built, a gravel road, and somebody take a huge fire truck and not be able to get in there.
No, I agree with you that it should be, you know, at least brought to their attention that maybe that this should be part of it. That's for sure.
Okay.
Oh, Mallory,
Hi. Sorry, everybody.
Well,
Hi, Mallory.
we were just doing the Claverack local law about the private roads and that.
Yeah.
What you see now, the red parcels are currently the landlocked parcels within the town. Okay, so any other questions or comments?
okay, I just want to read that provision so that you know it's the private road and any driveways servicing the PRS lots must provide safe access for fire, police, and emergency vehicles to be determined by the planning board review process. So that's how it's written. So we'll add that comment to suggest that the fire chief review. Okay. That's
Yeah.
all. I'm
I
done.
think if they feel they've got it covered as far as getting the fire involved, that's their,
I think that'll work.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're keeping the comment, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. Provided Ed makes a motion to that effect.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Larry seconds it. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? I'm actually surprised they didn't have that law in place earlier for private roads.
Okay. So the next one is with the city of Hudson. 21062V, City of Hudson Common Council. Proposed local law amending chapter 325 of the code of the city of Hudson to allow eating and drinking establishments in the R4 zoning district. The existing law prohibits certain commercial uses in the 3-story multiple residence district, which is the R4 district. Well, the city finds that this limits commercial uses to the Warren Street Commercial Center. And they would be adding provision number 3 to section 32511. That section pertains to conditional uses. The following conditional uses are permitted subject to the approval of the planning board in accordance with Article 8. Article 8 are the standards for granting conditional use permits, site plan review, subdivision, or the LWRP consistency review. So they're adding number 3, which is any building or portion thereof, the use of which is currently non-conforming use or was a non-conforming use and did not subsequently become a dwelling unit. And that includes retail stores and banks, personal service stores, eating and drinking places, service establishments furnishing services other than of a personal nature, including convenience stores. I didn't find there's any countywide impacts from this, but just one comment that there is a provision in the code pertaining to non-conforming uses, and just noting that section because in order to pertaining to non-conforming uses, it sets forth that they shall not be enlarged, extended, or placed on a different portion of the lot or parcel of land occupied by such use on the effective date of the chapter, and also that they shall not be changed to another non-conforming use and shall not be established if such use has for any reason been discontinued for a period of over 1 year or has been changed to or replaced by a non-conforming use. The intent is to resume a non-conforming use shall not confer the right to do so. So there, that section sets forth the 1 year, and I'm not sure how those two sections will work together. So just pointing out that there is a section that pertains to non-conforming uses.
Yep. So they may want to do a little extra tweaking.
Yeah, so the area that it would apply to is the R4, it's the light pink area. Here, you see them, R4. It's quite a significant area. Down here,
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
that's it. I just had that one comment.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions or comments? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Patrick,
Just
so moved.
recommendations.
Who
Who's the
seconded
second?
it? Steve, did you second it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Steve seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried.
The next is 21, just need some order, excuse me. 21063B, Town of Ancrum, Town Board, Local Law Number 3 of 2021, proposed local law creating a local type 1 list for the Town of Ancrum. The findings would be that they were implement the 2019 Town of Ancrum Comprehensive Plan and Community Vision Goals to further protect the unique environment in the town. Also to bring the zoning law into accordance with the comprehensive plan. The Conservation Advisory Council developed this list. The purpose was to identify actions and projects that are most likely to require the preparation of an environmental impact statement than unlisted actions. That uses that have a scale and intensity or some characteristic that requires coordinated review and additional environmental scrutiny in order to fully comply with and properly conduct environmental reviews for projects and actions pursuant to seeker. The comp plan goal number 2 under the environment section, it's strategy 2.1 under enhanced environment zoning. Detailed strategy 2.1.1 directs the town to set up a local type 1 list for seeker. Now, as part of 6 NYCRR Part 617.4 in the state law, the type 1 actions, agencies may adopt their own list of additional type 1 actions. They may adjust the thresholds to make them more inclusive and may continue to use previously adopted lists of type 1 actions to complement those found in this section. So this would be in addition to those set forth in the state regulations. And the other requirement within that is that any action may not designate as type 1 action any action identified as type 2 in section 617.5. So I have listed all of the actions that they've included. They initially started out with like over 80 actions and they whittled it down to these. They run the gamut from residential accessory uses all the way to industrial uses. And the only one that I thought that might, I haven't been able to get a legal opinion on this. I sent a request to the state and I haven't heard back because they added mining. They added under the industrial uses, large gravel mines that extract more than 1,000 tons in 12 consecutive months. And I'm not sure that whether or not they have the jurisdiction to be able to classify that as type 1 because their authority is very specific for the local municipalities over that scale of a mine. So I'm not confident to add it as a comment, but I'm just bringing it up now because I've requested information from the state, but I haven't heard anything back yet.
Yep.
But I don't want to add it as a comment because I'm not sure if they have the ability to classify that. But I do want to point it out, something that I question.
Yeah. I was speaking with an attorney last night who had the same question. He didn't know either. This is the first town. This is the first town in Columbia County that's taken this initiative, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. So, any questions or comments?
Just one, if we don't at least say that we asked the question, I mean, they can only send it, they send it to the board and they have, 45 days for us to respond and then we can't go back, right?
Well, if we just say local decision, it's not coming back anyway. I mean,
Well,
God.
it wouldn't need to come back one way or another, unless they make a substantive change in the regulation. But if you,
I mean, we could add a comment that, they may want to
Yeah, I don't know.
look at the mining provision, if that's what you're referring to, Patrick.
Yeah, if we just said we asked a question because we weren't sure, that's the only thing I just wonder. Because if we don't say something and it gets through and it shouldn't be there, then it's kind of on us.
What if the comment was, the town should contact New York State DEC to clarify whether or not they have jurisdiction to include mining as a type 1 action?
Yeah.
Sufficient.
Yeah.
Or something to that nature.
Yeah.
Put it back on there, put it back and suggest they do it. We're not saying they have to, we're saying we suggest they do.
Yep. Just mentioning it. Yep. Okay. Does that work for you, Patrick?
Yeah. I just think that we just need to say we were thinking about it. That's all.
yeah, because there's so much case law around mining. There's just a lot. So
Yep.
it's really a legal
So,
issue.
Patrick, is that the kind of thing you could support by making a motion on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second.
Who seconded it? Oh,
I
Mallory?
did.
Oh,
Steve.
Mallory did. I think that's
Steve.
Okay. Mallory seconded
Steve.
it. Well, Steve. Okay, Steve seconded it. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion
Okay.
passed. Good to go.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, the next one, I need a civil order for you. Okay, 21064V, it's the Town of New Lebanon Town Board. It's adoption of proposed comprehensive plan update. It updates the comprehensive plan adopted in 2005 and incorporates the 2017 Natural Resource Conservation Plan, which includes maps, goals, and actions. It establishes a vision for New Lebanon's future, and the key findings include population decreased by nearly 10% since 2000. The population is aging, as all of Columbia County is actually, and there are fewer families with children. They also continue to value the town's rural character, its appearance, and natural resources in the small town character. The housing stock consists primarily of single-family residential type housing. The median value is significantly less than the county average, and the housing costs are higher than what is considered affordable. For renters, they pay proportionally more of their household income on housing costs than the county average. There are few large employers, largely small businesses and home-based businesses. They note Route 2022 corridor facilitates access to and through the town. That internet is significantly improved and helps facilitate the increase in home-based business. And also noting that affordability of the internet is a challenge and that cell service is sporadic. Residents cite the need for more frequent information about community events, programs, and services. And they also adopted an updated zoning code in 2011 and have been regularly updating it. This establishes goals to achieve their vision in the categories natural resources, environmental sustainability, ag, community appearance, economic development, housing, tourism, traffic and transportation, community facilities and services, historic resources, recreation, and land use. The plan includes a SWOT analysis, goals and strategy to achieve the vision, and an action plan. The appendices include a community survey and the summary, focus group summaries, as well as community forum feedback, public hearing feedback, the status of the plan action items, and the mentioned before the natural resource conservation plan. And the town plans to revisit the plan in the next 3 to 5 years. Won't find any countywide impact from this, and we have no comments.
Okay.
Make a motion, we accept staff recommendation.
Is there a second?
Second.
Larry seconds it. All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
All those opposed? Town of New Lebanon's all set.
Not quite. One more from New Lebanon. 21065B, adoption of proposed local law number 3 of 2021, the local law to amend chapter 205 of the Code of Town of New Lebanon. He removes the ZBA's jurisdiction over special use permits and it grants the authority to the planning board. It also amends the special use permit procedure. Specifically, the applications filed with the clerk at least 10, they add the word business days before a meeting. It also amends the home occupation use standards, eliminating home occupation 3 and expanding uses in the home occupation 2 to allow 2 commercial vehicles, and removes the requirement for for site plan review. It removes the provision that limits motor vehicle sales to west of the blinking light. It also removes a requirement for annual renewal of a special use permit for home-based business uses. Adds criteria for site plan review required prior to beginning any new land use activity or changing any land use activity. The exceptions to that are for single-family residences, landscaping, repair and maintenance, exterior alterations and additions to existing structures during any 5-year period of not more than 25% of the square footage, and non-structural ag or gardening. Again, it amends the filing requirements, adding the description of business days. It also amends the provisions for food truck signage, removes the term home occupation 3 and adds food truck and food truck operator. Also adds supplementary regulations for food trucks, including that the size not exceed 256 square feet. The minimum lot size where one may be located is 1/2 acre. The operator must obtain and maintain Department of Health permits where required and operate in conformance of those regulations. Code enforcement officer inspection is required to determine compliance with any applicable codes and rules. The operator must obtain written consent of the property owner, and that must be maintained on site. No food truck may operate that remains in violation of codes or laws, and they are not permitted on publicly owned property or on a public highway. It further amends the use table, taking out site plan review and all the little boxes. So, and a note identifying the section where the site plan review requirements are in the zoning code. By no countywide impact from this, we have no comments.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments?
No.
Nope.
Entertain a motion. Also move.
I'll do it.
Patrick seconds it. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Lebanon's all set on that one.
Okay, so I did receive another potential referral, and it was for a cannabis opt out, but I've received the opinion that that is not necessary to refer those to the county planning board. But it was for the town of Chatham.
Oh, okay.
They're intending on doing the cannabis opt out, which is the deadline for the opt out is the end of this year. So, and it's only towns are allowed to do it, counties are not. So I'm not aware of any other towns that have or have not. This is the first one that I've heard of. I'm not sure which ones have. So I don't have a list yet of those, inventory of those.
I think it was the paper. I think the Village of Chatham may have done it too. I think
Well, this is Chatham, what I'm talking
the
about.
Village.
Oh, Village, gotcha.
Yeah, I think the headline was for the Village. Okay. Anything else, Patrice, to bring?
I don't have anything else, no.
Anybody else have anything to bring before this illustrious board? Planning
Nope.
Federation's looking for a good administrative assistant. If anybody knows, if anybody wants to work in a fine office setting up in Albany.
It's a good job for you, Tim.
They asked me if I'd go up.
Big increase in pay, see?
I don't know about that. If you got to show it all. So anyway, so if nobody has anything else before this board, we'll thank Oswaldo for doing a fine job of keeping us on the straight and narrow here with his computer savvy.
Everyone have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, you too.
Yep. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks for coming, everybody. Good night.
You're
Good
welcome.
night.
Take care.
We'll
Good
see
night.
you.
Bye.
All right.